They are all this size in his thumbnails. I am incorrect. However, look at how small they are in the video. Look at the video. Look at the video. Look at the small. Look at the small. Look. Thumbnail. Video. Thumbnail. Video. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Shut up. Alright, so let's get into it. This is regarding Hasan's little China visit. Shall we?
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So just when you thought things with Hasan Piker couldn't get any worse, well they have. As you guys know, he is doing a trip in...
Okay, sorry, 8 seconds in, I'm sorry. I have to point out, Rev's glasses are much nicer than Hasan's glasses. I'm just saying, Rev's glasses are so much nicer than Hasan's. Just putting it out there.
China, and the new stuff we're going to be looking at today is some more simping for that regime, but also what many are considering aiding in state-sponsored propaganda. Yeah, it's gotten that bad, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, during all this, it did not stop him from thinking about who else but Asmongold. Despite being across the other side of the world, Hasan can't stop thinking about Asmongold, and...
Well, neither can the people in China. Because he went, Rev is probably going to show this, he went up, like he was live streaming in China, and he was walking up to people. They didn't know who the hell he was. He thought he was going to be fucking huge in China. He thought he was just going to be walking the streets and people were going to be fawning all over him. A lot of people didn't even know who the fuck he was. Like, he approached, like, two girls, I'm not sure what city he was in. Approached two Chinese girls, and he's like, do you know who I am? They're like, no, we have no idea who you are, but you're handsome. And that was it. And then the other people were saying, no clue who you are, but we know who Asmongold is. Asmongold is bigger than Hasan, even in China. Even in fucking China. Asmongold is bigger than Hasan. I fucking love it.
The main reason, as we'll see, is that it appears that Chinese citizens are much more familiar with Asmon than they are Hasan. Now, of course, to recap what we've talked about in the last couple of videos, Hasan has made a trip to China, where it got off to a perfect start, a very fitting start, where he was immediately detained for a meme on his phone. And later in the stream, when he was talking about that situation, he justified it and defended the regime, saying basically he's a swagged out white boy, his words, for China, and that he understands why they would basically racially profile him and want to check out a white person at this ceremony he was attending. And, you know, I guess he's white this week.
Don't forget, the video we watched on stream the other day, he said he's full Chinese. He said, I'm on my Chinese arc, and that he was basically identifying himself as Chinese. But when the police stop him, he's just a swagged out white boy. You see how he basically is whichever way the wind blows, that's what he is. If he gets in trouble, I'm a swagged out white boy from America. I have protection, he thinks. The hell was that? Scout, are you yes, yeah. Oh, whoopsie. I hit my thing. Scout! Oh my goodness, Scout. Hang on, chat, 1 second. Sorry, Scout doing her orange cat thing. Anyway, yeah, so he basically is like he is whatever ethnicity he thinks will benefit him in that moment. So if he's stopped by the Chinese police, I'm a swagged out white boy because I think I might have protections because I'm an American. When he's getting interviewed by Chinese state media, I'm actually, like, I'm going in through my Chinese arc. I'm one of you people now. When he's in America and he, because he hates America, he's Muslim. Except when it's inconvenient for him to be a Muslim and then all of a sudden he's a white boy. Are you picking up what I'm putting down in your chat? Like, he literally is, he identifies with whatever way the fucking wind blows. That's it.
He's basically, like I say, he's a racial chameleon. He changes whenever it's suiting his agenda. Yeah. But he also had this
exactly
to say,
what I said.
where basically he said that China is the country that represents everything he loves.
You have 1950s Soviet-era building blocks.
Okay, remember, chat, we watched this the other night. Remember, this was the stream where he was drunk off his ass. Again. He was streaming just fucking, he was hammered during this stream when he's talking right here. He was utterly fucking hammered for the second time in a short span period of time for live streams. Like, he's getting shit-faced on his streams a lot more frequently than perhaps he used to. Because I think he's crashing out. I think everything's finally getting to him, and he's coping with alcoholism, which, Hasan, no, alcohol is not the way, gamer. Just leave the platform, go touch grass, you'll feel better.
Next to the Gucci store, if there was ever a country that represented the synthesis, the things that I enjoy so much personally, if ever such a country existed, I do not know.
God, he is drunk.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is never defeating the communist with a Gucci bag allegations. Absolutely insane stuff. Keep that in mind. He is saying this is a country that represents everything he loves. And despite the fact that the citizens are roasting him and calling him the guy who electrocutes dogs, his simping...
Yeah, by the way, for you guys were commenting earlier, they weren't, like, in his live stream, when he had the Chinese audience responding to him, and they were calling him, they were saying electric dog, they were not calling him an electric dog. They were making fun of the fact that he shocks Kaya. That's what it's a little lost in translation, but when they said electric dog, that's what they were referring to. They're talking about him shocking Kai. So it's just with the Asian cult, with the Asian languages, there's, we see this with China, we see it with Japan, with Korea, with Vietnamese, with the Asian language, typically there can be a few things that get lost in translation, but that's what he was referring to. And of course, they're fucking roasting him here too. They're roasting him here too about shocking Kaya.
Are roasting him and calling him the guy who electrocutes dogs. His simping for the regime has hit a cringe-inducing new level. Yeah. He posted this yesterday, captioned China maxing, with this photo. Millionaire, and he still dresses horrendously. He chooses to...
He's wearing sandals with socks. He's literally dressing... He's dressing like how a 70-year-old thinks someone fashionable dresses. That's literally what he's doing. He is literally dressing up like a 7-year-old who thinks they know what high fashion is. This is so sad. This is just pathetic.
Dress this stupidly. But of course, if we think about this, if any other content creator posted a photo like this with a caption like that, they'd be called a racist or that they're culturally appropriating or something like that. And relevant...
I gotta disagree with Rep on that a little bit. I do not think that there would be some. I'm not saying that there would be anyone that would give someone shit for that. I legitimately don't think that if someone posted a photo and said China maxing like this, that there would be this grand outcry of racism. They call them a fucking idiot, which, Yeah, if the shoe fits, or the sandal fits in this case. But they wouldn't call him racist. Realistically, you'd get a few that just are tryhards, but they would just say, like, dude, you're being a fucking idiot. Just stop. And let's face it, Hasan is an idiot. Alright? Hasan is flat out an idiot. He is not an intelligent person. He likes to pretend he's an intelligent person. He likes to tout that I've got a poli-sci degree. Yeah, we've seen what colleges do these days, Hasan. That poli-sci degree means precisely fuck all. But he tries to pretend like he's this genius poli-sci political aficionado, and he knows all the ins and outs of politics. He doesn't. He's proven that time and again. He likes to regurgitate talking points that he sees from his, the people that he stands for or that he simps for, and he just regurgitates them. Hasan is not actually an intellectual. He is not. He's, he is a good scammer. He's good at scamming people. He knows how to basically say what he thinks people want to hear and scam money from them for it. He's good at that, but he's not an intellectual. He does not actually understand the concept of politics. He doesn't understand politics. He does, that the poli-sci degree, you can wipe your ass with it. Because if he actually understood politics like he claims to, he would not have the extremist views en masse that he does. He would not have the extremist view of anyone that is not goose-stepping in line with the way I think is an alt-right Nazi. Someone with an actual degree in political science, someone that actually knows politics and has a good understanding of politics would not say anything that's stupid. Someone that is very familiar with politics would actually know or would actually appreciate the nuance of of how politics works, how you can agree with some things, disagree with other things, all on the same side. Someone that is actually knowledgeable about this topic would understand and appreciate the nuance. He doesn't. He is an extremist, pretending to be a political intellectual, when he's actually a political moron, regurgitating stuff that he likes and is basically a useful idiot for anyone that presents him with what they claim to be facts in a very pretty package, which he does not dissect in any way, shape, or form. Hasan is an idiot. He is an intellectual idiot. Hands down.
To this video, imagine if Asmongold or someone like that took a trip to Japan, put on a kimono, and said that they're Japan maxing. They'd be called a racist. And also people like Hasan and his orbiters and his communities, they would be because they hate making fun of Asmon or someone like that for the next 10 years. And of course, the comments are roasting him. Stay there, you clearly love it more than America. More memes of his dog Kaya. This you, with him saying, there seems to be a mistake. I totally love communism. I was just showing a meme about how awesome Mao is.
Yeah.
Give me your effing phone. Yeah. You are, you're not going to be some philanthropist or some guy who's going to go be a political pundit or anything. Under the regime, you're going to be working in the mines of Sector 7D, right?
What he will be is what Steven Seagal is in Russia. They will use him as a means to try and infiltrate American culture. So the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, will actually still utilize him in his current capacity as a streamer, as a quote-unquote political pundit, to try and continue to, gas up China and try and convince the people in the West that China is wonderful, that basically all of the atrocities and the horrible way they treat their people, the horrible way they treat other religions, the fact that they are a horrific government, they will use him to try and inflate their standing in the world from a sociological standpoint. They will continue to do that. Once he can no longer do that, then they will say, cool, we're cutting off all your internet access, and now you're going to go work in the factory. So they will use him in his current format until he is no longer useful, and then it's bye-bye. That's what would happen here. And, well, Nico, like, Steven Seagal, like, Russia used him as a means, like, he was, like, gassing up Russia. He was talking about how wonderful Russia is. He says that I'm a Russian, he said, I'm a Russian mongrel, that my family came from Russia. The problem is nobody gives a fuck about Steven Seagal. If you're comparing the two, Hasan has a lot more quote-unquote influence than Steven Seagal ever had. It's just, now Steven Seagal is planet-sized and probably can't actually do physical labor in Russia. So now he just like wanders around and shows up at events to basically be, for Putin to basically jangle something shiny in the form of Steven Seagal at events, and that's it.
Like, that's how things actually work over there. But Free Kaya, oh jeez.
Oh man.
Cringe set higher than the shock level.
Wow.
It do be like that, Mr. Piker. Hey guys, Hasan is talking about politics.
Moms, can you update the screen category?
Nobody cares because you abuse your dog. I'm very glad I helped proliferate this meme. Here's some more Kaya memes, and you get the point, right? But the thing with all this is the simping for the Chinese Communist Party it's insane. It's the most hypocritical and ridiculous stuff you'll ever see. Looking at China, the amount of human rights violations, the forced labor camps, the rampant use of child labor, basically the absence of any gay rights and things like that.
Yep. Well, not just gay rights, the absence of a significant amount of just basic human rights. It's you cannot be another religion. You cannot be another gay rights, trans rights. Forget about that. If you are gay or you're trans, you're dead. China will just kill you. If you don't conform to the rigid doctrine of the CCP, you're dead. Point blank. That basically encompasses every single human right imaginable. If you do not goose step in line with the CCP, you're dead.
Complete censorship. If you speak out against the regime, you get arrested. I mean, basically what I'm describing here is what Hasan thinks America is. That's what Hasan tries to portray America as. He feels like he's genuinely fighting a regime in America that, ironically enough, allows him to speak out against them, unlike the counterpart in China. But he really thinks the values of China and what they're accused of doing is what America's doing. And it's not really surprising that if you look at the history of communism, China in particular, they attribute 65 million deaths to communism alone. I guess they're still perfecting it to this day. They're working out the kinks of how it's working over there. But the funniest thing about Hasan and his simping for China is that he is someone who's viewed, especially by his like LA streamer scene, as someone who's like a LGBT ally, that he fights for their rights and all these things. And here he is simping maximum for the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, he's someone who's routinely called out homophobia and Islamophobia. And, well, he's in a country where 80% of the people oppose justifiability of homosexuality and feminism.
Well, we must not forget the whole Mulan snafu. Who remembers the giant snafu involving Disney's filming of the live action of Mulan? You guys remember that? For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, when Disney filmed the live action version of Mulan, they filmed it near a slave camp, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm reasonably sure the Uyghur were Muslims. They were either Muslims or Christians. I forget which. I want to say it was Muslims. I want to say they were Muslims. But yeah, Disney literally filmed the live action Mulan right next to a literal Muslim slave re-education camp. China was literally persecuting and killing Muslims. Okay? They were like, Rev may actually bring this up. I may be preempting Europe, but I don't care because I want to. But yes, China literally slaughters Muslims or forces them into re-education camps. The religion of Islam is verboten in China. If you are a Muslim in China, you are either re-educated or you're literally just killed. That's how it works in China. And Hasan, who claims to be Muslim and claims to be so pro-Muslim that he has literally said that America deserved 9/11, which was facilitated by Muslim radicalists. He loves China, who kills Muslims. Really? So Hasan, you still are pro-Muslim, right? You are still so vehemently pro-Muslim and anti-Israel and anti-America, but yet you're basically glorping all over the CCP's cock while they slaughter Muslims. Really? I seem to recall your vehement anger towards Israel, who is in conflict with Hamas, or Muslims. And you are all about Israel should be glassed off the planet. That you were all about the genocide of Israel because they were fighting the Hamas Muslims. And you thought that every person in Israel should be slaughtered and killed. Yet China's killing Muslims and you do not say fuck all. And you are all about, I love China. I'm turning Chinese. I'm on my Chinese arc. They kill Muslims, dumb fuck. So this is just another example of how Hamas Piker does not give a fuck about anyone but himself. He loves communism because he thinks communism can work for him. That's why he loves communism, because he believes that if he embeds himself in a communist society, he will be considered of value and thus he will be showered with riches because he thinks that's how communism works. In his twisted up mind, this is how he thinks communism works, that he will be seen of value and he will become even more enriched than he already does. It obviously it doesn't work that way. So yeah, he's just like, Hasan is nothing but a big scam artist. He's like, his entire China trip and the way he's just glorping all over the CCP is yet another giant example of how he's 100% scamming everyone. And he doesn't care about anybody but himself.
In fact, 71% oppose the acceptance of homosexuals as neighbors. And that's just the people, the government itself. They don't allow pride parades anymore as of 2020. Nope. And they shut down accounts related to it and apps related to it. Yep. And they even detain people who are part of the movement over there. And there's no laws explicitly providing protections against discrimination based on gender identity or sexual orientation. There's no same-sex marriage, and even forced placement of LGBT people into conversion camps. Again, this is everything that people pretend America is, and yet he is simping hard for this regime and while pretending to be like some ally. But he knows if he speaks out, he's going to be, arrested. But this shouldn't surprise you. I mean, I'm sure a hero of Hasan, Joseph Stalin, had this reaction back when a British communist wrote him a letter and said, hey, you should let gay people to be in the Communist Party. And Stalin simply wrote on there, archive an idiot and a degenerate, which they've been pretty consistent with this sort of attitude all the way through to the Chinese Communist Party. And I know
Very
people are
much
like, well,
so.
we're talking about China right now. Why are you bringing up the Soviet Union? Well, only a week ago, Hasan said he's sad that we helped bring down the Soviet Union. You can't make this
And
stuff
that
up.
was unfortunate.
Yeah, I think we are in the heart of the imperial core. This is the country that defeated the USSR, unfortunately. And the reality of the matter is, there's a lot of antagonism. There's no class consciousness.
This is once again showcasing that Hasan Piker is an intellectual idiot. He loves communism from the USSR, what is to be the USSR. He loves communism in China, but he does not understand a fucking thing about it. Thus showing how much of an idiot he is. And China recognizes this. That's why they have pulled out all the stops. That's why this was a state-sponsored trip to China. That's why he had a state's interview on state TV to gas up China. They are using him as a useful idiot. I'm honestly amazed that Vladimir Putin has not invited him to come visit Russia. Like, legitimately, I am amazed that Putin has not extended an offer to Hasan to come and visit Russia, roll out the fucking red carpet, and show him all of the beauty of Russia and just how beautiful communism is, so he could start slorping glorping all over Putin's dick. But who knows? Maybe that's coming next. Maybe Putin's going to see this and go, you know what? Send him a message.
In the United States of America is one of the things I try to address every day with my commentary.
And we haven't even got into the darkest part of this with the genocide against the Uyghurs, a predominantly Muslim population where millions of them have been forcibly relocated to detention camps and forced labor camps, and the women have been forcibly sterilized, you know, with the intent of ending their population over time. Yeah, this is something that Hasan talked about in 2021. He recognized it as a genocide committed by the Chinese government. But now he's working with state-sponsored media who's been involved with covering up the genocide. The switch...
Again, she doesn't care about any of it. She only cares about what can enrich him. That is literally all he cares about. If it can enrich him, he'll fucking get on his knees in a heartbeat. And China basically said, we'll do a full paid trip for you. They may have, I have to wonder if they even said, we will pay you to come to China and stream in China. It would not surprise me if the CCP actually paid him. And of course, Hasan, being the money-grubbing capitalist that he claims to despise, was like, fuck yes, get me on the first flight out. He's a scam artist. And he is not an intelligent person. He is not as smart as he thinks he is.
Up is insane. The hypocrisy is unreal. And at this point, he's basically fighting for their state-sponsored media. Some people really think he's aiding in propaganda at this point. And on top of that, there's another layer of sad irony, I guess. Just last week, in the celebration of Zoran Mamdani's win as the New York City mayor, he brought up, in quotes, that he finally feels represented as a Muslim American. Well, guess what? That population being forcibly relocated and basically treated as modern slaves by the Chinese government, they are predominantly Muslim. But there he is in China, sipping for the government that's doing it, and he's dead silent on the issue. The irony is just... Like I said, it's sad. It's a sad level of irony. And of course, you know, this is just who he is. This is just how he operates at this point. It's shameless hypocrisy. And we all know if this is what he looked like, 90% of his fan base would have left already. Like, who would put up with this stuff? I mean, it's 100%. So obvious he'd coast on his appearance, and it's no coincidence that he hid his relationship with his girlfriend for as long as it was outed until, because he wants to appear available to his audience that simps over him no matter what he does. Now, here's the next shift in this video. Like I said, despite being on the other side of the world, he couldn't stop thinking about Asmongold. In fact,
Yeah.
he was tweaking out in this clip because he discovered that more people know Asmongold in China than they know him. And that is quite possibly the funniest thing I have ever seen. Because
it makes perfect sense. Because Asmongold, whenever it comes to China and talk about how the Chinese Communist Party basically puts its boot on the neck of its very citizens, Asmongold calls that out. So to the average person in China, Asmongold is a fucking hero. Asmongold actually is speaking for the average citizen of China that is oppressed by the CCP. He is literally their Robin Hood. Whereas Hasan is all about the CCP is so fucking wonderful. I love the CCP. He's literally siding with the government that is destroying or trying to destroy or enslave the people. And he can't figure this out. He's literally too stupid to figure this out.
Because this guy is simping so hard. He wants to be a part of the scene so hard. He wants the Chinese government and their people to love him so much, and, well, they don't know him. In fact, they just call him the guy who electrocutes his dog, primarily. I think that's what he's more known for over there. And this quote right here would get a lot of traction. It would get nearly 50,000 likes, saying, "Little bro went to China thinking he would be received as a celebrity, got treated just as another foreigner, got arrested, learned that nobody knows him,
didn't get arrested,
and now learns that Asmongold is popular there. Hasan should be elected the lolcow of the year." And trust me, dude, they're trying really hard in the proposed community notes to say he wasn't arrested. Yes, he was detained, but they're trying to get a technicality, and they're not even denying the rest of this statement. But Hasan would come and defend himself, saying, "I love how none of this has happened." But MFs on this website just live in an alternative reality that fries them off of negatively framed clips they saw.
Oh,
we
my
are never
God.
getting healthcare. Man, what?
And son, don't even try to pretend like you give a fuck about healthcare. Do you think that the healthcare in your communist nations is all that much better? Really? The healthcare in the communist nations, I don't know if China or Russia has free healthcare, has like socialized medicine. I do not know. I've never looked into it. And quite frankly, I don't care because I'm never going to one of those communist nations in my life. So I do not care if they have universal healthcare or not. You don't think that universal healthcare is skewed towards the upper class and the lower class is just like, fuck it, you're on your own? Seriously?
A great rebuttal. Buddy is pressed by a guy with less than 1,000 followers who made the original quote, by the way. But anyways, It's a Gundam raises a good point here, saying, just in case you somehow didn't know, when influencers go to China to talk about how they love the country or how advanced it is, they are paid to do so.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, 100%. And Hasan's not really making it that difficult to understand, okay? He is sitting down with the Chinese Communist Party state media. Yes, he's sitting with the state-sponsored media that is completely under the grip of their government. And he sits down and dispels the Western lies about China. Dude, if I didn't understand his simping of communism and the regime, I would think he's being like forced to do this under duress. But no, Buddy sat down and was likely paid to do this piece of propaganda, as many people see it.
I know Beijing's your first stop in your whole travel plan.
We saw this.
It's probably just been 2 days for you to arrive in China. How's your experience so far?
It's been amazing. I haven't slept at all, but you know, I'm carrying myself because I'm so excited. It's been a remarkable experience thus far. But I was always very excited to come to China, so this has been a dream come true for me.
What do you want to experience the most, or what do you want to try the most?
The food. I want to see all the big tier 1 cities, but most.
Yeah. He wants to see all the big tier 1 cities. He doesn't want to see where 99% of the population of China lives. He just wants to see the tier 1 cities where all of the rich people and all the government people live. because he thinks that's where he'll live. If he moves to China, he thinks he's going to live in one of those penthouse suites in a tier 1 city. He doesn't want to acknowledge or see the slums that 99% of the population reside in. Because he's a son. He's a communist with a Gucci bag. He's got to get them ticks. He's got to get his swag.
Most importantly, I am super stoked that I'm going to get on a high-speed train tomorrow.
Yeah, the high-speed train that is $1 trillion in debt. Don't forget about that. That high-speed train he's so excited to go ride on is $1 trillion in debt.
To go to Shanghai, because I also want high-speed rail in America.
Why? Why are you looking forward to visit China?
Well, part of it is because I talk about China quite a bit as far as like lessons to learn and what America could adopt and emulate, and seeing it in real time I think is a lot different. I also wanted to show my audience,
this is it right here,
the Western world in general, that there are a lot of rumors about China. There's a lot of misunderstandings and also just outright lies.
He has basically become the highest paid shill for China. Because if you go on social media, like on Twitter, you'll see all of these tweeted posts on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok that basically say, look at how wonderful China is, trying to showcase like the beauty and majesty of China. They'll go like to these tier 1 cities and they'll show the heart of the rich district and say, look at how beautiful and amazing China is, to try and simp for China, to try and basically run a psyop to try and convince people in the West that, oh, we're so wrong about China. Don't you see? Here's video footage of how beautiful China is. And Hasan has now just become the highest paid version of that. He is literally, China has basically bought themselves an influencer in Hasan. This is what they did. Because don't forget, about a month or two ago, that he was bought and paid for by China with that gotcha game. That gotcha game that he played on stream, then he said, oh, that's not a gotcha game, or I didn't even know it was a gotcha game. That was a Chinese game that they paid for sponsorship for him to play on stream. He is China's paid whore. Winnie the Pooh got himself a highly paid whore that he can insert into the United States to try and destroy it from within. He is becoming a de facto spy for China. That is what Hasan has become. He is, and I have to wonder how long it's going to be before certain agencies start doing, kicking up their investigation and looking into how much China has influenced him. Yeah? Gotta wonder. Because at this point, he is basically a paid asset for China.
And that it's just another normal country, just like every other country is.
Also, in case you didn't recognize, that reporter he's talking to is the one that many people believe is covering up the genocide. And it really just goes to show that he has absolutely zero principles whatsoever. And it's very ironic and something that people are pointing out. I mean, this guy is an absolute fraud when it comes to anything or having any sort of balanced principles, but it's okay.
There it is. We are becoming more Chinese by the day. Hasan, the self-proclaimed Muslim voice in America, is becoming more Chinese by the day. So, hey, Hasan, if you're becoming more Chinese by the day, when are you going to go out to those Chinese concentration camps with all of the Muslims that they're torturing and killing and participating? When are you going to participate in that particular part of Chinese culture? Huh?
He's trying to become more Chinese by the day. Buddy thought this went so hard. I bet this goes hard if you're a terminally online teenager who looks up to someone like Hasan. But
and by the way, can I point out, he's saying we're becoming more Chinese by the day, yet he's striking a pose of like the Russian Russian ghetto boys. Think about that. more Chinese by the day, looking like, you know, like a couple of, I forget what I forget the terminology for them, but like looking like a couple of Russian ghetto boys. Yeah, Slav squat. Thank you, Robin. Yeah, doing the Slav squat while proclaiming to be more Chinese by the day. Do you see how much of a scam artist he is? It's all a scam, just to get him money. He's doing all of this strictly to enrich himself. He is a whore available to the highest bidder. Right now, the highest bidder is China. The second someone outbids China, he will whore his ass out to them in a heartbeat. He will present pussy in 2.5 seconds flat to the first person that can pay him more than China does. Guarantee.
You're a terminally online teenager who looks up to someone like Hasan. But anyways, the glazing hasn't stopped. Variety has dropped a bunch of pieces glazing Hasan. Yup. They could sense the negativity in the air, and they just go, oh, we gotta get some more PR for Hasan. So Taylor Lorenz, who is someone who is Hasan's biggest glazer, she's in her 40s, a cat lady who
she is desperate
has
to
been
bounce
exposed
on
for
him.
basically following him around everywhere he goes. 1 hour after he said he's going to New York City and then DC, she posted the exact same thing. She was literally tailing the guy. But in her article...
But, by the way, slight side tangent. There was an, I think it was Variety put out this article or put out something. Basically, Hasan's own, like, agents, you know, his I don't know if they're talent agents or what, you know, basically his behind the scenes, like, agents for his personality or whatever it is, actually told Hasan, you need to chill the fuck out on your rhetoric. And Hasan said, fuck you, I do what I want. Like, Hasan's own people that he has hired to basically, you know, get gigs for him, get these interviews, or, you know, but basically the agencies he's hired to get him all these interviews with Variety, Rolling Stone, etc., they told him, dude, you need to knock this shit off. You need to tone this rhetoric of yours way the fuck down. And he said, yeah, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you.
She basically says that he has a particular strain of politics, which is leftism that is attacked by both mainstream centrist Democrats, bad faith left-wing actors, the right wing, and just internet trolls.
So literally everyone. Taylor Lorenz literally just said that his particular strain of politics, nobody likes. Literally across the entire fucking spectrum, nobody likes Hasan's politics. She is literally an island in the political theater. And everyone hates him. Fucking everyone. Like, she tried to say bad faith left-wing actors. No, it's literally just, like, more than center-left Democrats. So, like, literally fucking everyone. Everyone is saying, literally everyone across the entire political spectrum, across the entire sociological spectrum, is saying, we hate you. Everyone is saying, we hate you. And Taylor Lorenz, who is desperate to bounce on his inverted micro dick, is like, oh, Hasan's just a poor, misunderstood genius in the political theater. Oh, Hasan, give me your inverted micro penis. Lets me lap at that creamy micro goodness. Like, the thirstiness of this bitch is going to drown the planet if she keeps going this. She's so fucking thirsty, her drool is going to literally cause the next great flood.
So basically what you're saying is nobody likes him. You basically named everyone. And you can frame it in a negative way all you want. You're basically saying that nobody...
Oh, and Jack, I'm sorry, I have to respond to this. He said, too bad he's already taken. Jack, do you think that would matter to Hasan? Do you think Hasan would even think for a microsecond about fucking around on Valkyrie? Like, he would not even think for a microsecond if a piece of hot ass or a piece of ass that he could make use of to enrich himself presented itself, he would fuck around behind Valkyrie's back in an instant. In a fucking instant. He would fuck anything that would enrich him. Gore, if it enriches him, he doesn't care. He does not care. He'd fuck a pussy if it would make him money.
And you can frame it in a negative way all you want. You're basically saying that nobody wants to accept anything he's saying. That's crazy. Crazy work. But of course, Hasan has been feeling it. Despite claims like that a lot of people don't agree with what he's saying, he's really flexing his political contacts recently, which is a very interesting thing.
This is a fucking lie.
He's saying that basically he's having these secret meetings with all these big political figures.
No, he's not.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have had closed-door private meetings with a lot of people that I never thought would desperately want to talk to someone like myself. People who have greater ambitions within the party structure, people who are representatives of the old guard. And
so that was a fucking lie.
Obviously, most of that conversation still centers around, like, how do we reach these kids? Right. You've seemingly been able to do this successfully.
So that was a fucking lie
as well. And I just keep repeating the same thing I say for free on camera every single day, which is, it's not just the mediums, but it's also the message, and it's also the values at the center of this party. We need to be.
No! Sheba! Hasan, you hate the center. You have flat out said, if you are in the center, you are far right. Those words have literally come out of your mouth. If you are a centrist, you're not actually a centrist, you're far right. You've literally said that, Hasan. It's recorded. I actually retweeted a video where you say that exact fucking thing, where there is no centrist, you're actually right. It's there to you. There is no centrist. There is either you're goose stepping in line with what I say, or you're so left you've actually become right, or you're just flat out right. He is literally the definition of it is my way or the highway. That is his political stance. You either follow me dogmatically, you drink the Kool-Aid, or you'll be ostracized as far right, and I will put out a kill order on you, effectively speaking.
Definable. We need to be easily understandable, and we need to be defined by key policy perspectives that we have, key policy prescriptions that we have to a lot of the economic struggles that the working class is experiencing.
This is the guy everybody wants advice from. When it comes to anything with politics, I think any right-wing person would hope and pray that someone like Hasan would be adopted as the face of the other side, because this guy is just a nightmare to deal with. He is someone who the average person looks at and is like, whoa, this guy's insane. This guy's like platforming terrorists and simping for terrorist organizations and saying America deserved 9/11.
Which, by the way, he doesn't believe it. He doesn't, but this is the funny part. The terrorists that he platforms, he doesn't give a fuck about them. Because don't forget, the terrorists he's platformed are Muslim extremists. Which is, all about Muslims should take over the entire world. The terrorist he platforms are Muslims that dogmatically follow the Quran that say Muslims should take over the world. And that all of their enemies should be wiped off the fucking map. They literally want to genocide the planet for anyone that is not Muslim. The Chinese slaughter and torture Muslims in their own country. But he's fine with it. So yeah, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's all about, you know, he platformed he platformed the Hamas terrorists because it would bring people onto his stream and he could make money off them. That's it. That's it. It's all for him. He is a capitalist. He is the very thing that he supposedly claims to despise and wish death upon. He is that very thing. He is a capitalist in the scummiest of forms. Well, it's you're correct. I am paraphrasing. There is a would it be fair to say there is a bastardization of what the Quran says that gets interpreted to be that Muslims should be the only faith on the planet. Would it be fair to say that there's a misinterpretation by the extremists of what is said in the Quran to basically fit their ideologies of Muslims should take over the world? Would that be a fair articulation of it? Like it does, like maybe the Quran does not specifically say it, but it is often interpreted by the extremists in that way, and they basically turn it into their Quran. Would that be a fair assessment? No? You don't think so? Not really? Because that's that's been the war cry for these terrorist organizations like Hamas, where they say destroy anyone of not our faith. You don't think that's a fair interpretation of what they're doing? Not along the lines of the people in your AO or Greece. Okay, well that's fair, Gore. Not in your area. Anyone understand it as what matches their personal goals? Yeah, and that's kind of like I misspoke on it initially. I did mischaracterize it initially when I said it, Amat. But it's how they're interpreting it and twisting it to meet their ends. But again, those are the people that are misinterpreting it and twisting it to meet their ends of extermination are the people that he platformed. Those are the people that he brought onto his stream and basically said that they are like Luffy.
11 and having all these ridiculous calls to violence. Yeah, this guy, no. I'm staying away from this guy. Yeah, that is the most humble clip I've ever seen. You know, if something actually legitimate happened, he'd be telling you all about it. That's just the way he is. He does that any opportunity he can get. But the pieces from Variety, they don't stop. In fact, Hasan Piker has said that his talent agency told...
Hang on. So it looks like maybe I'm right. Quote is, it was written in the Quran that all nations which had not acknowledged the prophet were sinners, who it was the right and duty of the faithful to plunder and enslave. Kite, you're saying, I've looked into it and says exterminate or enslave the non-believers in the Quran. Yeah, that's what I thought. I do not even know where Hasan comes from. Hasan is an American. Hasan is an American. He is Muslim, at least he claims to be, but he's not. He doesn't practice it in any way, shape, or form. He is Gucci Muslim. That's what Hasan is. Hasan is Gucci Muslim. So,
he does that any opportunity he can get. But the pieces from Variety, they don't stop.
His family was Nubian. I believe he was born in America.
Has said that his talent agency told him to tone down his political rhetoric.
This is what I was talking about.
He's getting a little too hot,
this is what I was talking about.
Quote. And did he heed that warning? No. Because I'm very stubborn. If something is wrong, I'm going to call it out. Unless, of course, it's the Chinese government. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Crazy circumstances. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time.
Ugh. Yeah. At this point, there is no doubt. Like Hasan is basically becoming a paid influencer of China. And I do have to wonder that when he flies back from China this time around, I have to wonder if Customs and Border Patrol is going to be pulling him into secondary for some questioning. Is it? I'm waiting to hear that when he gets back to America, when he flies back to America from China, I suspect we are going to hear that he got pulled into secondary for additional questioning and for additional for additional checks. Just wait for it. I think we're going to hear that.